if you're in the market for a new iPhone, this is the one you should be getting. Not the iPhone 11 Pro, not the 11 Pro Max, and not the new iPhone SE, but the iPhone 11. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. Hey guys, this is Saga from TechWorks, and let us get started with this video. I like to take my time to review these smartphones, because with a new product, there is this time where everything feels just right, and we tend to overlook some of the wrinkles that are clearly visible after a while. It also gives the phone some time to mature, both physically, as in to show us its durability and how it withstands with the daily wear and tear, and give the software some time to fix some of the minor bugs that are always part of any new device. In the US, there is a $300 difference between the price of iPhone 11 and the 11 Pro, but in India, difference between these phones is almost $525, making the iPhone 11 the most popular choice. And honestly, for the extra price, other than a high-resolution OLED display and one extra camera at the back, there is not a lot that the pros offer over the regular iPhone 11. Two things that disappointed most of the people more than anything when this phone came out were the lower resolution display and the measly 5W charger in the box. And one of those things still annoys me. It is the 5W charger. This phone supports fast charging via the 18W fast charger that comes with the iPhone 11 Pro models. But you have to buy that charger and the USB-C to Lightning cable separately. I have the iPad Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max, so I use that 18W charger to juice this phone up. And I don't think I can ever go back to charging my phone with the 5W charger again. About the lower resolution LCD screen that everyone was so angry about, truth is, you won't even notice that it is not an OLED display. It was the same for the iPhone XR. Last year, I switched from the iPhone XS Max to the iPhone XR, and this year I am using both the iPhone 11 and the 11 Pro Max together. But unless I am holding these phones just a few inches from my face, which we never actually do in normal day-to-day usage, or in case I am using a camera to zoom way in on these displays, I can barely tell the difference in the resolution. Apple calibrates these LCD panels better than anyone else in the industry, and the color accuracy and viewing angles on this display are simply the best amongst any LCD displays out there. You might hear about the specs of the display and straight away think that it is even inferior to most of the budget Android devices. But all displays are not created equal, and this one is much nicer than the LCD screens that we see on budget Android devices. Something that I would say I miss when moving from iPhone 11 Pro to the iPhone 11 is the support for HDR playback. Other than that, unless you compare these displays side by side, it is difficult to tell the difference between OLED and LCD. Yes, Apple's LCD displays are that good. You don't have to take my word for it. Go to your nearest Apple store or one of their resellers and check the display out for yourself. You just have to see it to believe it. I think the 6.1 inch is a very comfortable display size. Actually, I think a 5.8 inch iPhone 11 at an even lower price point would have been the ideal device for my needs. The notch is still there, and it is just as big as it was when it was introduced on the iPhone X. At first, I was not too bothered by this notch because the tech that hides behind the notch works perfectly. But having to look at what Android manufacturers have been doing with the notch, I have started to wish that the notch on the iPhones was a bit smaller. It is not too intrusive or anything, and just like you forget about the display having lower resolution than some of the other smartphones, you also get used to the notch and start looking past it in a day or two. One of the things that I miss on the iPhone 11 is that 3D Touch is now replaced with haptic touch. While haptic touch made a way for bigger battery and lets you use most of the 3D touch functions by long pressing on a particular part, it still misses out on some features and it is not as fast. I was one of the few people who used 3D touch a lot. So much so that I made a dedicated video showing what all it can do, and now that it is gone, I miss it. Design of the iPhone 11 is identical to that of the iPhone XR, with the addition of an extra camera in a raised square camera module at the back. While it is not too different, I don't mind having this design as it works pretty well for me. There are now a few different color options to choose from. I would have loved to see the matte glass back on the iPhone 11, just like the 11 Pro. But that process seems to be a bit costly, and including it on the iPhone 11 would have increased its price. I mentioned durability at start, and I would like to elaborate a bit on that. Like on the iPhone XR, Apple has again used anodized aluminum for the frame of this iPhone 11, which has held up pretty well for me so far. Most of the time, I have this phone in a case, but every now and then I use it without a case, and I have accidentally banged it against a wall a few times. But fortunately, it didn't even gather a scratch. This time, Apple is using the same best Gorilla Glass that Corning has to offer for the front and back of this phone as they do on the iPhone 11 Pros, which means even the lower priced iPhone 11 gets top of the line protection. Now my iPhone has held up pretty well against scratches. but I have seen other people's phone gathering some big scratches from nothing but just carrying it around in their pockets. So although Apple says that this is the toughest glass on any smartphone, it won't hurt to use a good quality tempered glass screen protector on top. This phone also has better resistance against water. XR was able to withstand being submerged under 1 meter of water for 30 minutes, and the 11 can now be submerged in 2 meters of water for up to 30 minutes. Remember, I came to the iPhone 11 after using the iPhone XR for a long time. So the cameras, while falling one lens shorter than the 11 Pros, are still an upgrade for me, both in terms of quality and quantity. While the camera on the iPhone XR was a beast, ones on the iPhone 11 are even better. Both the normal and wide cameras are same as the ones on the iPhone 11 Pro. Features like better Smart HDR algorithm, Deep Fusion and Night Mode makes this the best camera at its price. Front camera also gets a bump in the resolution from 7 to 12 megapixels, and now you can take normal or wide selfies with it. I have made a very detailed video about the cameras on the iPhone 11 with lot of image and video samples from various lighting situations. Make sure to check that out for a much detailed look into the cameras. I will leave a card to it on the top right corner of the screen and also link it in the description section. Apple is not doing anything too crazy like adding a lot of megapixels or an absurd amount of zoom on one of its lenses. But whatever they are doing has been working out pretty well. I just hope someday they start using physically larger sensors like some of the recent Huawei and Samsung phones. I just want to see what Apple can achieve with that sort of data and their computational photography algorithms. All of that might be in store for next iPhones. But on the iPhone 11, we are left with these two cameras, and I think they are capable of taking on any of the competing smartphones. Video performance of iPhones have been the best for some time now. It is so good that many times when I am taking outdoor shots, I take a few shots with this phone and mix them up in the video. And even after watching the video, no one can differentiate between the shots taken with the iPhone 11 and my DSLR camera. If you have ever used an iPhone, you know that performance is not one of the things that you need to worry about. iPhone 11 gets the same Apple A13 Bionic processor as the Pros, so just as you would expect, iPhone 11 can handle anything that you can throw at it. In fact, there are not too many apps on the App Store which can take full advantage of the hardware that this phone packs in. All this headroom means the iPhone 11 is built to last. As and when developers come out with better apps in the future, this phone will be able to run them smooth for a longer time without any issue. Apple generally provides software updates and support for any phone for at least 5 years. So rest assured that the performance of this phone will last far longer than you are willing to use it. Chances are, you might get bored and want to upgrade to a newer iPhone just because it is available and not because there is some issue with this one's performance. Software and hardware work hand in hand on the iPhones like they do on no other phones. Apple tightly integrates the software and hardware and keeps most of it under walled gardens, and that's the reason performance of these iPhones is so good. Everything right from the processor is designed by Apple, so they know how to get most out of their hardware via the software at any given point. Simplicity of iOS is what attracts most people to iPhones, and if you have more than one Apple devices, all of them work together flawlessly. Like with most of the other devices, there were a few bugs on the iPhone 11 at the launch, but with each subsequent update, Apple has been fixing them and also adding more features to this phone. I think iOS 13 has been Apple's buggiest version of iOS till date, and I just hope they straighten things out on the iOS 14 right from the start. I know any operating system has its share of bugs, and I'm glad that Apple has been on top by fixing the bugs right from the early days on this phone. But I would expect that a huge company like Apple, with its huge program for developers and beta testers, would iron these bugs out prior to releasing these versions to all of its users. Something I wish that Apple gives us with the next version of iOS is a relatively bug-free experience from start, ability to put some sort of widgets on the home screen. I know I can put some widgets on the leftmost page, but that is not nearly as convenient as having the widgets on main home page. I also wish to have the ability to use multiple apps at the same time. With the screens becoming larger, I think we can at least use 2 apps at a time, if not more. I would also like them to add the night mode to the ultra-wide lens, and more importantly to the front-facing camera, and maybe a few more computational photography features that makes these cameras even better. I love that with each new update, Apple has kept on adding few new features to this phone. Features like the Deep Fusion mode, which helps the camera take much better and detailed images in indoor light, was added later on, and even the option to change the video resolution and the frame rate right from the viewfinder was added to iOS 13 in a later update. There are a few more small features that they have kept on adding, so the software updates that we get are not just about fixing bugs. If there is something on the hardware side that I don't like, it has to be the storage option. I don't like that these iPhones still start at 64GB, because for a price this high, 128GB should be standard. You can obviously pay Apple more and bump up the storage. For the 11 Pros, after 64GB, you get 256GB storage option. And in India, with the current prices, you will have to pay 14,700 rupees to go from 64 to 256GB. With the iPhone 11, after the 64GB variant, there is a 128GB storage option. While it costs 5,300 rupees to go from 64 to 128GB, if you want to go with the 256GB of internal storage, you will have to spend 15,800 rupees, which is 1100 rupees more than what you would have to spend on the 11 Pros, which doesn't make any sense. 64GB sounds good enough for most of the people, but if you plan on using this phone for 3 to 4 years, choosing the 128GB storage option is a smarter thing to do. Last year I went with the iPhone XS Max because I wanted the battery on my iPhone to last me an entire day. But as it turned out, iPhone XR had an even better battery life, so I switched to it. Having a battery that lasts more than a day is important to me, so knowing that the iPhone 11 can last even longer than the XR was an amazing thing. My normal day-to-day usage comprises of an hour or so of making and receiving calls, about half an hour of video calls, watching YouTube videos for about half an hour, listening to music in the background, constantly checking Twitter and Instagram feeds throughout the day, chatting on iMessage and WhatsApp, and streaming some shows on Netflix, Amazon Prime or Apple TV, and maybe taking a few images and videos here and there. And with this kind of usage, I mostly end up my day with close to 30% of the battery still remaining. Sometimes I need more than a day's battery on my phone because I drive a lot, and during those days, navigation apps are used a lot, and sometimes I just forget to carry my charger. So having a battery that can go on for more than a day is very important on those days. When it is time to charge the phone, I just hate that Apple still includes a 5W charger with this iPhone 11. I have a few 18W power delivery chargers, and after having used it, I never went back to the 5W charger again. I also have a wireless charger on my desk and on my bedside table, so sometimes, like when I am scripting for a video or doing some other work at the desk, I just place the phone on the dock and it is pretty much fully juiced up when I get off the desk. Now this is definitely the least expensive of all the iPhones that Apple announced at their last major keynote, but it is in no way the lighter iPhone or the less powerful one. So Apple was spot on by not calling it the iPhone XR2 or something like that, because under its hood, it is every bit as powerful as the iPhone 11 Pros. This iPhone 11 has held up pretty well for the past 6 odd months, and I'm sure it is still an amazing phone to buy even if the next iPhones are scheduled to launch later this year. It is an amazing value for money and offers you most of the features that the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max do at a much lower price point. In China, Apple has reduced the price of this iPhone considerably. So if they follow that by further reducing its price like they did with the iPhone XR last year, iPhone 11 will be even more popular in India, and I'm sure people will choose this over the iPhone XR. Most of the people getting the iPhone are bound to use it for 2 or more years, so it is only fair to get the one that offers you most of the latest features that you would use for a reasonable price. So if money is a factor in your buying decision, going with the iPhone 11 over the 11 Pro is the smarter choice. I have mentioned a few times that I am also using the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and I think I might sell that one and hold on to the iPhone 11 until the next iPhones arrive. If we believe some of the rumors that are floating around, that could be a longer wait than normal this year due to the outbreak and manufacturing and supply constraints. So if you are looking to buy a new iPhone, and unless you have a ton of money which you don't need, iPhone 11 is the one to get. I also understand that the iPhone XR is much cheaper than the iPhone 11 in India, and some of you might want to know what you miss out on by going that route. So if enough of you are interested, let me know in the comments and I will make a detailed comparison between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone XR. Same goes with the new iPhone SE. iPhone 11 is a clearly much better alternative than the newly released iPhone SE. And if you want a detailed video telling why, then again let me know in the comments. How many of you own an iPhone 11? And how has your experience been so far? I would like to know. I also want to know if any one of you are planning to get the iPhone 11 and what drove you to this decision. So let's spark up a few conversations in the comment section. If you plan on getting this phone, please do so from the affiliate link in the description section. If you purchase the phone from those links, you are not charged anything extra, but I get a small commission which helps me make these detailed videos on the channel. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.